doing, man? I had to come find you. I thought you were gonna come back and see me. Guess what? This is yours, man. You're the champ. You run the camp. If you want.
The champ is here.
You got target. You did good. You knew exactly what to do. You knew exactly what to do. Hoist it up. Hello.
Okay.
And the place that we were in on holiday, it looked like that place.
Okay.
So we stood outside, took a picture, and that's what that was. It wasn't actually in Texas, but there's a place in Dublin called Texas Fried Chicken.
That's the rumor that's out
It's not
there.
a good place though. They play football with the chicken.
Oh my
but
God.
it's still delicious.
Hey man, so now you got the boxing license now. Are you gonna fight
Yeah,
Floyd?
we'll see. What's he trying to get Floyd? What's Floyd gonna do? We're looking for anyone.
Well, he's been talking all
I'm
this.
the one with the numbers. We're looking for anyone.
Well, he's talking all this smack
I'm
about
like
you.
into this mutant ninja turtle.
That's what's up, man. You're the man.
Tell him come here and talk.
Exactly.
Where's your
My money's on you.
Where's your car? Here.
Hey, Jeff, can you put my
Did you hear the noise of that?
Hey man, the car's beautiful, man.
Step away from the vehicle, please. Let's step away from the vehicle.
Down on you, serious.
Come on, guys. Thanks.
So now, what do
Ninja Lambo, you want me to put that thing on?
you like better, this or your Bentley?
Hey, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What do you like better, this or the Bentley?
Rose, it's the rose.
The gray one. All right. Thank you guys.
Hey, can I get a shout out for Kelly Fitted?
Oh, we gotta go, man.
Hey, boss cap, can I get a shout out for
Right now,
Kelly
brother. We
Fitted?
gotta jump.
Hey, yo, you want to know about a school for my football program? You want to know some boxing? I have money out about your boxing, man. You gotta remember where you come from, boy. You gotta have
You're good, champ. You're good, champ. You're good, champ.
All right, boys.
Good, we're good.
Yeah, good. Get this angle right here, too. Go easy, eh?
Security, come on. Please, gentlemen, please.
No, no, it's okay. I want
Gentlemen, let's go.
Come on, guys.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this motherfucker.
I will smash you.
Go.
Come on,
Go.
we'll see. Yeah, we will see.
Monday, we're looking forward to Money in the Bank. Dude, you are huge, man. You don't look this big on TV. What do you eat, Volkswagens for breakfast? Jesus.
No, a good bit of chicken, and the whole race of chicken probably hates people like me. But yeah, it's usually backwards. It's usually the other way around. People think I look bigger on TV. So
No,
thank
man.
you. That was quite the compliment.
Hey, you got the guns to prove it, dude. I don't think you need the compliments from me. So, Roman, I'm going to start off telling you that for almost 2 years now, you, Dean, and Seth, I absolutely hated your characters. You guys, you did your jobs perfectly, making people like me and all the fans angry because just coming out there, beating up everyone you could. You guys are the perfect heels for a long time. Are you ready now for the change to go towards the good guy direction?
I think so. And thank you for, putting over our work. I think, the way we've been booked and what we do, our whole style, we just come out and we fight. We go through the crowd, which is different and it's cool. Never been done. And I'm proud to say that I'm still doing it. I think it's hard not to get into what we do. We believe in the fight. We believe in standing up for what we believe in. And anytime you can carry that out, I think people will get behind that.
Absolutely, dude. When you guys were walking through the crowd, I mean, Dean and Seth aren't doing that anymore, but now that you are still doing it, were there any moments where anyone got a little too rowdy, anyone get too handsy, and it's like, all right, dude, you need to back it off, otherwise I'm going to have to take some action here?
Yeah, and every once in a while people will get you, and like the padding is cool, and I get it, and that's what makes those seats a cool thing is now is you can get right up on us, and like you said, get a sense for how big we are and what we really look like up close. But every once in a while, there'd be that guy who's just, he's a little bit too excited. And he gets you right on the back of the neck. And you're just like, oh, what are you doing, man? Come on.
I remember seeing, I think it was Dean at one of the pay-per-views, someone slapped him, and he turned around, and I thought he was just going to deck the guy. And I'm like, man, that's kind of risky for you guys to do that all the time. I mean, like you said, it looks great and everything, but there's always that potential of someone just taking it way too far there.
Yeah, I think in that time that the guy, he popped me in the back of the neck pretty good. I did turn around. I was like, don't ever do that. You know what I mean? Like I may have scared him a little bit, but to be honest though, the crowds and the fans have been awesome. Even when we go, overseas in Europe and stuff, and they only get to see us 1 or 2 times a year, depending. So like the excitement level that they have is even on a different level. But the fans have been great, and fortunately for us, a lot of times we're out at the end of the night. So by that time, they're serving beers and things like that. And, you can get a rowdy crowd,
Oh, yeah.
After a few hours of drinking, people can get a little too excited, but they've been great with us. They really have.
I love going to Raw because it's like you get all these different people coming in, and they're from all different walks of life, but just to see you guys perform and cut loose, have a good time, that's really what it's all about all the time.
Yeah, and it's entertainment. It's a good time. We're here, essentially to put smiles on people's faces in some regard, but to really sit back and look at the whole production of it, it's like going to an amusement park. It's a great time, and it's for the family, it's for grown single men, it's for grown single women, it's for it's little kids, it's for everybody, all different walks of life. So to be a part of that, I'm pretty proud of it.
It's an awesome thing, dude. So let's talk about your career, man. You started FCW down in 2010, which then became NXT, and then it took 2012 came into WWE around Survivor Series, right around there.
Yeah.
Okay, so November-ish, and ever since you got into WWE, since you came up to the big leagues, you guys have been in major league main event situations the entire time, dude. I mean, was there a lot of pressure for you, or were you just like, look, I'm in here, I'm doing it?
Yeah, I mean, at first, when you think about it, there's pressure, but once you kind of just get thrown in the fire, you're just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you get thrown in the deep end, you're going to sink or swim. And in that regard, when you're fresh like that, they kind of just want to see what happens. You know what I mean? Especially a situation like us. I mean, I don't think there was huge plans, that, they didn't really look into the future and like, we got put in turtlenecks to begin with, just like the word, like we were going to come out with shield, like like plastic wrapped
like Captain
shields.
America kind of shields?
Yeah, not even that cool, man. Like that would have been an upgrade for sure. And that's Captain America. He's lame. But like, for us, we just kind of evolved over the time, and we kept doing our thing. We kept doing our thing, showing new things. And it worked.
Yeah, you guys definitely became big-time superstars pretty quick to do that. When the three of you, when you and Dean and Seth came in, and who else was right around your time? Was Big E right around your time too?
Yeah, Big E, we all debuted pretty much in the, I think he was a couple weeks after us. Big E, and just so many, like, and before us, you got guys like Damian Sandow, Cesaro, and a few others, but just a lot of young guys, a lot of fresh talent out there, and it's the locker room is there's a lot of new faces, but a lot of hardworking guys, and we're proud of that.
Absolutely. Did you guys have any? Did you have any hazing to go through? Because I don't know, I don't look like it, but I did play some sports, and I went through some hazing and initiation too. Like, did the veterans give you guys any beef while you were coming up, like first couple months there or anything?
No,
maybe not you. Maybe the other guys.
I've always been a locker room guy and pretty cool with everybody. Nobody really messed with me. But occasionally there's a rib here and there, and those things happen. But nobody really messed with us. They kind of left us alone. But at the same time, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to reveal any stories or anything. I just wanted yes or no on that. So I'll take your answer as things happened. We're leaving it at that.
Yeah, they left. They didn't really mess with us too much, but it happens.
Okay. When you're going in the back there with the other guys, are you one of the people that's taken new ideas around to the veterans, like, Cena and Kane and Big Show and everyone? Are you like, hey, I have this move, I have this idea I want to try out, what do you guys think of it? Will you do that before you'll present it to the higher ups and say, this is something I've thought about, what do you think?
Anything in ring like that, I mean, yeah, everyone kind of has their own little circle, their team of guys that they go to. One guy that I, really like to talk to is Joey Mercury. He's a producer now and a former talent.
He's been there forever
yeah,
too.
And he's been wrestling for, I think he's actually lived life longer wrestling than not. And he was down there in developmental with me, so that's a guy I'll bounce things off of a good bit, along with my family. But for me, like maneuvers and things like that, that's not the big stuff. Obviously you have your finishes, but if I'm feeling something, I'll do it.
Okay.
I don't really run it by anybody. If I'll do it, or I'll be like, hey Joey, watch this match. Tell me what you think of this thing. And and I'll get some feedback, but a lot of times you just do it and you go off the reaction. And if the people are into it, it may be a keeper.
Keep it then, for sure. How'd you come up with that kick, dude? Because I've never seen anybody doing it. You're running. For anybody that doesn't know, Roman will come around the side of the ring, run, and then plant your right foot into a guy's face. How'd you come up with that, dude? Because that looks like it just kills people when you do it. It's amazing looking.
Well, my main thing was just trying to think of different ways to use the ring, different areas, because like a lot of times most things happen directly in the middle or just like in a corner. Anytime you can do anything on the apron, and I have actually, if I can remember them, I have a few other maneuvers that take advantage of the ring and its own regard. But for me, it was just a combination of trying to do something different. And when you throw a regular drop kick, you fall down, way higher. When I throw my drop kick, I'm jumping up high, but I'm literally only this high over.
Yeah,
the mat,
it looks
so
great,
it's
but
not
you're
rough
only
on me.
hitting.
Yeah, it's not that rough on me. And that's something you have to think of. If your offensive moves hurt you as well, then you may not want to do them.
Are there moves that you won't do just because it's too much on you?
Well, for me, I try to keep my feet on the ground, and I do a lot of running, and I do a lot of jumping maneuvers. But my main thing is to try and stay off that top rope.
Okay.
Yeah, those are C's I'm not trying to chart. That's not my thing up there.
You can catch the guys coming off the top. You don't need to be the dude doing the Hurricane Rana off the third turnbuckle.
And I don't even like catching guys. You know what I mean? Like that ain't easy either. I like explosive movements are my thing. Going from slow to extremely fast are things I thrive in. So that's why I try to build my offense around.
So tonight we have Raw at the Verizon Center, and then on Sunday it's Money in the Bank in Boston, where you're going to be part of the 7-person main event. And now that you're out of the Shield, you're all by yourself now. Is there any trepidation, any hesitation about doing this on your own, or was this time for Roman Reigns to be taking things to the next level as Roman Reigns, not as a part of a group?
No, I mean there is no hesitation. There's no brakes on this vehicle right now. I'm trying to hit my head on the goalpost. And that's the thing. People, you don't realize how much we wrestle every week. I've main evented, the last European tour. I've done a lot of things on my own. I've had a lot of singles matches and live events and stuff. So to do what I'm doing now, I'm prepared for it. I've been doing it now. I've closed shows multiple times. I understand that responsibility, and that's what I look forward to. That's what pushes me, is to just continually get better and push way past what the potential mark is set for me.
Okay, now, not saying that you're nervous about the match itself, but the ladder. That's a big part of it, too. And the last 3 pay-per-views, you've been involved in some pretty rough matches. Is there any hesitation about being in the ladder match? Because is this one of your first ladder matches like this? Because I've seen hardcore matches with you guys, but ladder specifically.
With this story, we're trying to climb. So, I've obviously worked with ladders and sticks and, all the different toys, but climbing the ladder and being, 10 feet in the air, that's a whole different story. And like I just said, I'm not a top rope guy. So,
no.
But at the same time, you can take advantage of the ladder. You can use it in your advantage. But when it comes down to it, you got to climb. So it's going to be interesting. I'm prepared, and for me, I just don't care. You know what I mean? If you've ever looked at my Twitter, you've seen my back. Pain who cares?
Okay.
You know what I mean, whatever. But you know, as long as it don't kill me, I can learn from it.
I was going to ask you about your back actually because it was it Payback was the last pay-per-view that we just had,
Yeah.
where you know you're laying on those metal steps and they were doing a number on you, dude. And how did that feel leaving the match? I mean, you guys all beat the crap out of each other, but you specifically took the brunt of that beating that night.
Yeah, the first couple of them were pretty bad. You know what I mean? I mean, they by no means did they feel good, but it was one of those things where you just end up getting used to it. You know, like by the 8th, 19th time. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just like, whatever. You know, like let's just
Do it. Is that all you got?
Just get done with it already. But yeah, where I really felt it was the drive. Like after the adrenaline wore off, and I'm sitting in the car, you know, a little bit cramped up in the back seat. That's when I started to notice, like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put me through it tonight. I earned my money. And then the next night, it happened again. Yeah, I think, you know, the chairs and then multiple chair shots from Randy. So I had a pretty rough 48 hours.
Yeah, that was a bad week for you.
I deserved a drink after those nights.
When you guys are in the car, you know, you said you're traveling around, something like that. Are you stopping at rest stops to get ice and put all over you and everything?
No, you know, most of the time it's just bathroom breaks and trying to pick up some, you know, a snack or a drink or something like that. Or most times energy drinks to stay up because we are on the road.
Yeah, late night drives and everything.
Yeah, but it's funny because we were just talking about this earlier. Like, it's probably like I'm a big buffoon for doing this, but I'm not big into ice. I try not to use it, even though it's very helpful, and especially being a former football player. That's all you do is ice and stim, ice and stim. But I don't like the message it sends when people see me with ice. You know, it's like, is he hurt? And what's wrong with him? You know, I like to go out there and do awesome stuff that looks like it's painful. And it is, but then just no sell it. Like, I'm great.
So you got to keep on the Superman persona all the time.
Like it's, you know, perception's reality. And like I said, it may be something stupid on my behalf, but it's just the way I do my things.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you've been an athlete all your life, so you know how to handle your body. You're good with it. Which of the superstars right now that are coming up, which are the ones that you're impressed with? The ones that you're really watching from the back and you're like, wow, these two have a great angle going on. I really like what I'm seeing from him.
You know, there's a bunch of them, and it's not even necessarily like the angle. It's just like individual traits of certain guys. You know, like anytime Cesaro's wrestling a match, I try to watch it. You know, anytime he's in the ring, I try to watch and see what he does, and he's just impressive. You know,
he's going to be a main eventer very soon.
Oh, absolutely. But he, you know, anytime you can get eyes on what he's doing and just and enjoy, you know, what he brings to a match. I don't know if I've ever seen him in a bad match, and that speaks volumes for a performer. You know, anytime Bray Wyatt talks, it's cool to. And sometimes, you know, it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Sometimes it can be nonsense, but it's captivating.
But it works, yeah, it works for him. But then sometimes you get lost in like, whoa. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, man, and you can kind of get lost and be a fan, but you know, it's just there's a ton of young guys, and I think, you know, with what Triple H has done with the Performance Center down in Orlando and NXT, you're just going to continue to see these different personalities, these guys that are coming up and they're ready. You know what I mean? Like they're driven and they've been battle tested, they've been through it, they know what's going on. And that's something you have to be prepared for, because when that red light's on,
you got to go.
You got to go.
When you're looking at the camera, it's time to roll. Yep. And plus, the guys from NXT, they have their characters developed. They're not going to go through that awkward, like, all right, what am I going to do here? Yeah. They've had the TV time. NXT looks like WWE with the way they set it up, a mini version of it, but they're ready to go when they're coming up to your level now.
Absolutely, and they've had, you know, time to try different things and test out, you know, what's going to work for them and their characters and the situations, and you know, it can be complicated. You know, you gotta think of, you know, all the different situations and how you would react and all those type of things, but you know, and for us, we're really the last of just guys who didn't have that. You know, we did have a lot of experience in developmental with FCW and things like that, but you know, before we started the Shield, me, Dean, and Seth were all fighting down in Florida. You know, we're all opponents. So you know, for us to be grouped, there was like a growing process for us, which I think kind of made the Shield beautiful. You know what I mean? Because we were just doing it. You
Yeah.
know, there wasn't like it wasn't like premeditated. It was just on the fly, and a lot of it just stuck and just sat well with everybody. So I'm pretty proud of that we were able to just naturally, organically evolve.
Yeah, I think making a character organic, and you guys gelled so well together. It's much better than forcing something, because we've seen a lot of people being forced and it just doesn't work out for them,
Yeah. Well, and that was our thing, and I think that speaks volumes for all of our personalities. We were able to do the team thing like nobody else. I mean,
Yeah.
Like just out there fighting for each other, not caring what just it's us against the world. And I think that's what worked for us, being the Shield, and then, what happened with that bastard Seth.
And by the way, speaking of Seth, I don't know if I'm down with the new look he's got with the pants. I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling that yet. Are you going to change your look, by the way? Are you going to keep the vest and everything?
Yeah, God, no, I'm not changing. I'll show, some new vests. I have a few new things. Like the vest I wore for WrestleMania, I have similar looks to that. A couple of different color schemes, but I'll stay with the black and, throwing a team color here and there. But, yeah, he's into that tight stuff, you know what I mean?
Hey, that's not me.
He wears skinny jeans and things like that. So, but I think it's a cool look because it works for him. It's different, but it's still like kind of Shieldish.
Yeah,
he's all black and he's not straying too far away from what he was before. It ain't in my gear.
Yeah. Like he's not looking like the Rockers did back in the day, but he's still keeping with that whole like darker kind of thing with the Shield. You know what? Back in the day, you grew up in wrestling all your life. Your family was big time, The Rock's your cousin and everything. What are your early memories of coming up? Do you remember meeting the guys at different events and everything? And who were the ones that you were watching as a kid?
Yeah, it's funny because like, I've been to so many shows, but like actually being in the crowd was like something I don't know if I've ever just sat in the crowd for a whole show. Like maybe gone out for a match or two, and then just always been in the back, And one thing I always remember doing, I think we were in like Biloxi, Mississippi for a taping or a Raw or something like that, and just sitting in front of like the backstage where a lot of the interviews and stuff are done, and you're just sitting there watching, and there'll be a guy just a wrestler come up and he'll just cut his promo and then the next one would come, or they'd be doing announcements and things like that. So it's always been cool. Catering was always like a thing, you know what I mean? I think, yeah, like dude, look at all the desserts and all the
are those cookies?
Food. Yeah. Is that lobster right by steak right next to cookies? Like they just put cookies in between that stuff? Why are they doing that? But yeah, it's always been like the backstage feel.
When you guys are when you're doing your promos, I guess now that made it a lot easier because you were growing up around it. It's nothing for you to get on the mic or anything.
Yeah, and I've just kind of always, I know my what I've shown kind of in the past, and like in the first couple of years is just the quiet one, the powerhouse, not really the soft spoken, not having too much to say, but I've always been comfortable like socializing and being around people and talking and holding conversations. So it's never been a big deal for me. And like I said, like we were talking before, that red light, when the red light goes on, you got to go.
It's time to go.
Yeah. So like,
there's no hesitation.
That's just something. You go through the curtain, you better come back through the curtain with something good, so that I've just always been, I've had the switch and I can turn it on whenever I want.
Are there any tapes of young Roman Reigns when you were a kid doing any of your wrestling impressions since you were around all the guys? Are they out there somewhere? Or are they buried at mom's house and you'll never look at them again?
I don't know. Definitely not at my mom's house. We were never like video camera people.
Okay, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, we didn't even have like a computer and stuff. Like we didn't have cable for the longest time. I remember my mom and I was in high school and like she got us cable and like she made sure to turn my channel on to ESPN in my room, and when I walked in I was like, hold on, we got cable? But I didn't she got mad at me because I didn't really put it over as big as she wanted. But
we got cable.
Yeah, and like it kind of pissed her off. But like that was the thing is like we weren't like a big technology baby. Like I was like, I feel like kind of old school. Like I was just always outside running around playing sports, especially growing up down in Pensacola, Florida. Everything revolves around the ballpark. Like,
sure.
I probably spent more time, at our local ballpark, Myrtle Grove, than anywhere else other than like my cousin's house. So, But I imagine there may be in one of my relatives some box in some attic or basement somewhere. There's like a tape of us doing really goofy stuff. I don't know if they're impressions, but they could probably make me a laughing stock.
All right, so someday it'll be on TMZ. Roman
likely.
Reigns' first promo he ever cut. I know we got to wrap it up here soon, Roman. Just a couple more questions. Have you ever come close to slipping up during an interview, dropping a bomb on the microphone? And I ask that because when you guys are going, 15, 20 minutes doing a match, and then you got to get right on the mic or something, you got an interview right in the ring, your adrenaline's flowing hard there. And I can imagine it has to be pretty tough to keep yourself under control, because I've come close to slipping on this microphone many times.
Yeah, that's kind of like a inside thing too. Is like we always laugh about like not saying the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like making sure like when you're going over stuff or thinking about stuff, for some reason cursing happens. You know what I mean? But like
it just does.
Yeah, you kind of just put that in with like. It's a terrible thing too, but it's very surprising that nobody slips up and drops like a F-bomb or anything like that. But the big thing after you wrestle and then you have to talk is like, all right, control my breathing. Because you're like,
yeah, you don't want Renee sticking the mic in your face. You're like, oh God, I'm going to sound like an ogre here on the microphone. I got to sound like a pro.
Yeah, so like that's the main thing. Is like, all right, focus. Calm my pulse. Calm the pulse.
Count to 4.
Where we at? All right.
Be good.
Woosah.
Being here in D.C., are you going to use monuments, museums, or historical places to your advantage to finally win the selfie war against the Road Dogg? You have to do something today.
It's so funny that we're talking about the selfie war. Road Dogg,
I think it's great,
Road
dude.
Dogg, I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming for you, man. I don't know. If I had time to get out, maybe. I'm trying to wait for a big finish. I try not to include too many things in my selfies. I think the last one I did was like with a weird Terminator statue. I was at a licensing expo in Vegas, which I probably should have tagged that in. Sorry, expo people.
You gave him a plug right here. You're good.
Yeah. But there's definitely a good opportunity. I don't know. I need to get creative. I told him like if you're gonna do this selfie war with me, you got to get creative.
You got to climb up to the top of the Capitol building and do it with that guy that's right there, the big statue.
The Abe Lincoln statue, and just sit in his lap somehow. I'll probably get arrested for doing that.
No, you'll be fine, dude. People climb on that all the time.
Climb up there and take a picture with his big head behind me.
Act drunk like everyone else is down there. You'll be good.
I don't know.
Turn the jacket inside out. They don't need to see WWE Network. You'll be fine.
Oh, look at this.
All right, last question for you. There's a lot of superstars that on Raw and SmackDown, we don't get to see them each and every week. And, that's for whatever reason. That's fine. Do you think, and I've thought this for a while now, do you think it would be beneficial for WWE to split the brands once again? Do you think that could help guys getting better segments on TV because they got to focus more on just that? Because when you're filling 5 hours, 3 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown, and main event too, you got to do that. I mean, that's a lot of time for you guys, and maybe some stuff won't be as strong. Now, do you think splitting the brands might be a way to change things up? I
think so, yeah. I mean, it worked before, didn't it? Like,
it was great before. I mean, I thought it was some of the best stuff that they did.
And I think with that dynamic too, it adds to the storylines and competition and things like that. And I think there was like a whole pay-per-view on I think it was called Bragging Rights, just based on that whole concept. So I think it works. If they're going to do it, who knows? You know what I mean? That's something that's for, the people.
Oh, sure.
There. But I think it definitely works, and it adds an interesting dynamic for sure.
Oh, and with that, I guess they'd have to split the titles again. I did want to ask you before you left, have you talked to Daniel Bryan? Is he doing all right? Have you had a chance to speak with him?
I haven't been able to talk. I've heard, through the grapevine and the boys and stuff, that he's doing better. He's at home, and I guess obviously Bree's helping him out a good bit, which was really cool on her behalf to put her career to the side and make sure her husband's fine. But I wish him the most comfortable and speedy recovery. Daniel Bryan, and this is a guy we battled with for a long time.
You guys had wars with him for a long time.
For him to be able to gut it out like he did, and I think he was hurt for a long time, and he just kept pushing through until he just couldn't do anything anymore about it. But hopefully it was just he'll get back to 110% and be back, and we're missing him.
Yeah, very cool, man. Well, Roman Reigns, we're going to see you tonight at Monday Night Raw. You and John Cena and Dean Ambrose are in a 6-man tag. No surprise for you to be in a 6-man tag. You're ready to go on that. Versus Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Seth Rollins. Plus Triple H is going to be there, of course. Demon Kane. You got all the superstars there. We can get tickets for that at Ticketmaster.com. And Sunday, Money in the Bank. Dude, hopefully I'm talking to the next WWE champion. That'd be awesome, man. Good luck.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, brother.
I definitely want my carry-on bag to be a good bit heavier.
Thanks a lot, my man.
Thanks for having me, buddy.